A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into a brand spanking new edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here at Quaker Steak Lube, our favorite place to be on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, and really just about any other time you can think of. Great place to come on down and watch the Masters today. Of course, we have Major League Baseball season underway. For teams that are good enough, the NHL playoffs are just around the corner. If the NBA playoffs suit your fancy, that's coming up too. Not so much of interest for yours truly, but hey, to each their own. Come on down and watch all of that. And of course, tonight, you can come on down and watch the Frozen 4, which you can also hear right here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. 4:45 this afternoon, we'll have live coverage of the Western Michigan versus Denver game. And then at 8:30 tonight, it is those pesky Nittany Lions making their Frozen 4 debut against the veterans from Boston University. The Terriers will be in their third straight Frozen 4. Boston has more national titles than Penn State has years of existence as a D1 program. And to some perspective, the history here for Boston University. But interesting, reading through some of the notes and stuff, both these teams are young teams, so they could both be back here next year. Of course, neither can be back next year. Again, it's every season is its own story, and there's a lot of things that have to happen for a team to get to the Frozen 4. And again, it's remarkable. Boston in its third straight, but Boston also the third youngest roster in Division I hockey. Penn State is also fairly young, but 15th youngest roster in D1 hockey. So again, that game at 8:30 tonight. Had a great discussion with Joe Batista. If you were listening to Let's Talk this morning, which you can hear weekday mornings from 8 to 10 on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. But Joe Bott talked about just fired up for the players, thrilled for Guy Godowski, and it's just kind of their moment. And what an opportunity they have. And listen, the nice thing, and I do think there is some of this. I know that the team is dialed in. They're ready to go win a national title. I also do think there is zero pressure on the Nittany Lions. I mean, I really do think they can go in, let it fly, have some fun. Yep. And if you don't win, like, bummer, man, we really want to win it. But still, an historic season. You have established yourself as the first ever. And, I was thinking about this with the Penn State Wrestling program, and even though it had the national title from the 1950s, in my lifetime and many people that followed the program, the first national title was in 2011. And obviously the first for Cal Sanderson and the program. And there is just always going to be something really special about that team that season. Now, any season you win a national title, yes, for any program, it is special. Like, that season stands alone as special. But when you get that first, or the first in a really long time, there's a special memory that comes with that. And for that team, that 2011 Penn State team in wrestling, right, that team will always be able to say, yeah, you see all of this that's happening and continuing right now, we started that. And hopefully we get a similar type of run with Penn State hockey.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be all right. But regardless of what does or doesn't happen moving forward with the program, this team, this year, the first ever in Penn State history to get to the Frozen Four. That's special stuff, obviously. Correct. They win tonight, they'll be the first ever to go play for a national title. They win that, and forever they will be known as the team that got Penn State its first national title. in the Division I level, Batista was talking. I guess there's a story, I think, in the Tribune on, Penn State didn't even have hockey before 15 years ago. Which I was like, well, we did have hockey.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what they're saying, but
Yep.
Not only did they have hockey, they had outstanding hockey. And, that club team, and I'll use club kind of in air quotes here because they won some games over Division I opponents. And think about that for a second. Like, just how remarkable what Joe Batista had built there. I don't care if you're talking about the lowest D1 in any sport for a club program, right? To beat a D1 varsity team is crazy. And it happened a couple of times with the Penn State Icers, as they were known then. But anyways, great history, great tradition of hockey. And now, again, this breakthrough moment tonight. 8:30 will be the start time. It'll be on ESPN2. And again, you can listen for all of the Frozen Four action tonight right here on Sports Radio.
Trip doing the
98.7 the Fox for Penn State. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So we have also, because of the potential of the national championship game on Saturday night, the possibility that we won't have Pirates baseball for you Saturday night. Buccos will open a series against the Reds in Cincinnati tomorrow. We'll for sure have the game tomorrow, have the game on Sunday. If Penn State is not in the finals, perish the thought, then we would have the Pirates game for you on Saturday night. When Penn State wins tonight, the downside is we will not have Pirates baseball for you on Saturday night. We'll instead have the Nittany Lions and the winner of that Denver Western Michigan game. So all of that rolling your way here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. And Penn State softball continuing to roll. 3 more home runs yesterday. Nittany Lions will continue the homestand against the Buckeyes tomorrow, weather permitting. If you're tuning in and outside of the State College area, another not exactly ideal spring day for outdoor activities here in the Valley of Happiness, dear Goon.
Yeah, I had my lunch here earlier, and I was in there with 2 of my friends who are bike guys. So I said, "You guys ride today?" They're like, "Hell no!" And I was like, "Were you riding last week?" And they were like, "Yeah, the false winter, the false spring."
Yeah,
because
they teased us.
Yes, they did. And then it's supposed to be worse this weekend. So
yeah,
is
not looking good.
Bastardi still calling for a little bit of snow?
Yeah, he's been all over this on top of it for a couple of weeks ago.
What's he saying?
Yeah,
like we're going to get blasted, or just like a couple inches?
No, we're going to get some cold weather here, like about 20 degrees colder than normal. And again, he's been calling for that for a number of weeks ahead of it. So, yep, Joe Bastardi, weatherbell.com, our
Bastardi and Batista in the same conversation.
Although, yeah, not happy with Mr. Bastardi. I understand it's not really, his fault. But
it is.
Man, just frustrating.
He bats 300%. I mean, just make sure it's a wrong one. And when it happens, But I will say he is very good. I got to say that. So, your Buccos, congrats on the
first series win man. Of the year. Was wondering if either team was ever going to score. Then they both broke through in the 12th inning. Great start yesterday. It was one of those games.
I watched it.
I watched I listened to a good bit of it, watched a good bit of it, had to make my way up. Fortunate enough to do the State High softball game yesterday, the PA for that. State High actually had 4 solo home runs, but lost the game 9-4 to a very good Cumberland Valley team. That Eagles team is just solid the whole way around and remains undefeated on the season. But, yeah, very good game. to go 11 innings in this day and age and have neither team score, with the Cardinals pitching being what it is and the Pirates bullpen being what it is, it really was beyond remarkable.
Yeah. So
but Mitch Keller was.
You're funny.
Man, he was phenomenal.
You listened to it.
I listened to.
I couldn't listen because I had it on mute because I was on the phone, but the game was on television, so
gotcha.
I couldn't hear what I watched.
Yep.
And I was like, have they gotten a hit? And then I looked at it, was a sixth inning. I'm like, damn, they didn't get a hit yet. Oh God.
Yeah. Yep. And then
and they pulled the pitcher.
Eventually.
What's your feel on that?
So Shelton, this is the era we're in, and in the era we're in, it probably was the right decision. It did. Keller was starting to labor a bit.
That's fine. I'm talking about the Cardinals guy who had a no hitter for six.
Yeah,
they pull him. I hate that.
Yes, but it's also
hit a pitch count, hit an innings.
Yep, we're in this era, and for long term success, they're probably right. From a competitive man, we're here in the moment. Yeah, not so sure.
What do you think Nolan Ryan would have said to the Cardinals manager yesterday?
Yep, would have refused to come out. There
Absolutely.
would have been a fight, quite possibly a literal physical fist fight on the mound in that situation. But again, it was a different era, different expectations the whole way around. And again, in some ways, you can argue. No, I just read. Now I'm going to forget who the coach was that was asked about the difference between, and this was in college football, difference between players today and yesteryear, and it's like, well, players used to talk about their obligations and responsibilities. Now they talk about their rights and and opportunities. And okay. I mean, to some degree, I listen. We had players in the 70s and 80s that were fighting for their rights too. Like they felt
Kurt
this was
Flood
wrong,
getting a free agency,
and they were fighting for it. And I also think that there are an awful lot of players today that are, man, we just want to come and play football or whatever sport it may be. But this was a football specific thing. And it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously we'll accept the monetary offering, but that, like, I know a good number of wrestlers and other athletes. It's like, man, they are extremely appreciative of the opportunity they have, the era they're in, to be able to profit monetarily from playing. But they're genuinely asking the coaches, man, what can I do to make myself better? What can I do to help the team? So I understand the comment as far as it goes. I also think it's not really entirely fair. There have always been selfish players. And there are still a lot more selfless players.
Yeah, I mean, I did an interview with the Dude Network last week and the week before, and it's gaining some momentum on Twitter and stuff like that, and all of their TikTok, I don't know, whatever. But they broke me down in like a little segment that I had talked about, and I was talking about me and Landon Tangwell, and the comment that I made was that he is amazed at how little we got for what we gave, and I said I'm more amazed at how much they're getting for as little as they're giving, but. In the same breath, they are giving more than we did, because I'm telling you, what they have to go through now, like living in this like glass house and everybody and their mother is looking at you and filming you and this and that. I mean, back in the day, Joe used to warn us, you live in a glass house, watch what you're doing, watch what you're saying, how you're acting, all that stuff. Didn't stop us from being buffoons, but the word was physical word, like talking. Now there's actually video and cameras and this and that of that, and different social media outlets where anybody can say anything about anybody and get away with it. So it's one of those things. Was it worth it back then to have the seclusion we had? But for what we went through, and not went through. I mean, I'm sitting there talking like it's like World War II or anything like that. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like compared to what we're getting now with the players, what they're getting nowadays monetarily versus what we had got, which was zero, but we were giving everything and more type of thing. And it was a cool statement that I had made, and then I was thinking about it, and I was like, I like how that came out.
Yeah, no, and I think
I must have got smoked something or something because it came out. It sounded like a good idea. It sounded smart, but
there unquestionably is more scrutiny now than there ever was.
And you know what? To go back to this, there's also the time. These cats are at it, man. Like, we would have weekends off, and I'm just talking about when I came back in 2005, and guys were like, we used to just go home to like one of our friends' houses for the weekend. You go home to like your Marco's house in New York, or we go to my house down outside of Philly, or go to Ohio, go down to Maryland. You go there for a weekend. You have a great time. Everybody in the world wants to hang out with you and have a good time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Where it was really looked down upon guys like leaving for weekends and stuff. And I always used to say, like, I had talked to somebody before. When I heard that they were doing not spring football, spring and winter meetings, where we used to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You had a 2-hour window where you were working out. You had about an hour to lift, and then a good hour to recover before you had to go anywhere, class or whatnot. That was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday and Thursday, we ran at 6 o'clock in the morning up in Haluba.
Yep.
You were done at 7:30, and the rest of the day was yours. You were Johnny regular student for the rest of the day. Now they have these, you have a position meeting, a squad meeting, a walkthrough on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I remember telling my friends this, and I was like, dude, we would revolt. Like, we would tell them to go pound sand. Like, dude, this is our time. You want us to be student athletes? Give us some of our time. We want to be regular students. But, this happened then. It wasn't like it was like a Franklin or Bill O'Brien thing. I mean, this is what they were the rules, and Joe was doing that. They were having walkthroughs and meetings on weekdays and stuff. And I'm like, man. And I remember Wally Richardson was the one who was talking to me, and we were talking, and I was like, dude, we wouldn't go for that. And I'm telling you, we would have been like, what? Again, weekends are our time, and those Tuesday and Thursdays, it was like, you need to back away a little bit, And then, nowadays, it's like they're all in all day, 5-6 hours in that building alone, lifting, running, doing their classwork and studies and stuff like that. A lot of time that they're spending, and a lot more time than we had done. A lot more.
Yeah, and listen, I think that's across the board, and this is one of the interesting things. I've had a couple discussions off of the talk we had on Tuesday with this, House versus NCAA and the proposed settlement and what all's involved there. And I do think the time commitment and just the overall expectations, I guess we'll say, for football and probably throw basketball in there too, just because of the high profile nature and stature of those student athletes on campus. But I'm telling you, across the board, the amount of time that the student athletes of all of these sports are spending, I think it continues to go up. And again, I'm trying to think of like the least, maybe fencing. It would be the least followed sport in terms of fan support. I'm just telling you, those folks are putting in more time now, studying more film and looking at
technology
more things.
Should make it easier.
Yes. And it does, I think, in some ways. But I also think because everything is so readily available, that opportunity now to study, and then the expectation that, hey, we're going to have our practice time, but you want to be the best. And again, I understand there were people that were putting in hours and hours and hours of extra time in the 70s, 80s, and all of that. And I'm sure there's some people skating by now and just that they're talented. It's like, yeah, I'm just telling you, I think more people are putting in more time just overall now. And, we've talked about it, Goon. They're doing it at earlier ages. And I think that is a concern to me, the number of young people who are spending, in particular to me, when you're just dialed in on one sport and you're consumed by it. Now, the exception is always, and again, I'm not saying this isn't across the board rule, because there are Tiger Woods, there are David Taylors, as we've talked about out there. Man, if your kid is a protege and your kid has a passion, a singular passion, well, yes, whether it's you're an amazing pianist, you have a gift and you have a love for it, and that's just all you want to do. Obviously, nobody's saying no, under no circumstances should you cultivate that.
Yep.
But 95 to 99% of us, we're going to benefit from being able to participate in different things, whether it's different sports. I mean, that's just what I gravitated to when I was a kid. Obviously, never had anywhere close to Division I ability, but man, we played. It's just what we did in our neighborhood. We just played sports. Again, our kiddo is into sports, but also loves scouts. He's getting into music right now. He likes acting. Awesome. Do all of that everything while you're a kid. Expose your kid to as much as you can. And again, if you expose him to something and he's like, yeah, man, this isn't my cup of tea, cool.
He tried it.
Cool. And again, if he or she gravitates to one or two things or a variety of things, man, encourage that. Let that play out. But I am concerned about the number of, and I think it's more parents than it is kids, truthfully, that are like, all right, well, we need to be putting in 10 hours a week on our sport.
In your off season.
Dude, 20 hours a week. Dude, 25 hours a week. We got to be, do you want to be the best? Well, I don't know. Do you? And again, there are great stories out there about people that put in that time and they're in the major leagues. They're on the PGA Tour. They're fantastic. There's also, for every one of those stories, I can give you 10 to 15.
You remember growing up and having the real good basketball player in your class that his father had him shooting free throws and taping his arm down to dribble with his left hand, all this stuff, and then they completely wash out in high school?
Completely.
It happens a lot.
And not only, not only do they burn out, but there is, and I know a few, where there is resentment toward the sport, and they can even articulate that they understand there shouldn't be. Yeah. It wasn't the sport's fault, but they can't help it. It's like, man, I hate wrestling now, or I hate baseball, or whatever the sport may be, because it did become all-consuming, not necessarily their choice, and it just gets to be too much. And I think in a society where those pressures can occur anyway from parents and all of that internally, then you add to it I've shared with you, it bothers me. And I don't know what you can do about it. I don't think there is anything you can do about it. And I can't even necessarily explain to you why it bothers me as much as it does. But, my kiddo did youth wrestling for the first time this year, novice, and he's 9. He's dabbled with wrestling here and there, but this was the first year that, all right, we joined a team, we're doing tournaments, all of that. And it was a very good experience. But the one tournament at the end of the year, we did not realize going in, all of the other tournaments, they put novice kids against other novice kids. This one, it was everybody was thrown together. So you could be wrestling a kid that has been 5 years year round,
There's
or you
a
could be
quick way out of the
wrestling
sport.
another kid that is 4 months in, like ours was, and just learning it. Well, our kiddo's getting ready for it was actually a consolation match, wrestleback match, and one of our friends is like, "Oh, just so you know, the kid that he's going to face here is ranked 3rd in the state." And
first of all, he's
like,
9. How do they have rankings?
This is
Jesus.
I gotta tell you, dude. I'm like,
come on.
well, what do you mean ranked 3rd? And
Who's
sure enough,
making that list?
there are rankings, and I guess based on, again, all of these results are available, and that's fine. But ranked number 1 or number 10 or whatever in the state at age 9 or 10 is, again, to me, it's just insane. And part of it probably is just that you're familiar with what you what you grow up in, right? Like, so it just never occurred to me. Like, we were just so, I guess, insular. Like, we never, it was never even talked about travel squads or anything like that when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And maybe some kids did. I mean, I'm saying I never heard about it. I wasn't aware of it. And I don't think anybody, and we had some really good athletes. We had at least 2. I'm trying to think. We might have had more than that. Well, actually, yeah, technically we had at least 5 kiddos in our neighborhood that played Division I athletics. Actually, now that I think about that, that's kind of crazy impressive. So these were kids that were very good. Very good, but had very similar experiences where, again, none of them were on any kind of a travel squad. None of them were doing, again, football was not offered until we got to 7th grade, organized football. Now, we played football. We played tackle football without pads in the neighborhood, the pickup games, from the time I can remember, probably 1st or 2nd grade on, but not organized. And the organized sports we played were, was soccer, bitty basketball,
soccer, wrestling, stuff that you.
But even all of that was like we were playing other teams and other kids within the state college area. Like we weren't even traveling over to like Penns Valley or Bald Eagle area. Well, now that's your starting point, and then these kids. And again, I'm not arguing against this, so don't misunderstand. That's great to get those competitive opportunities. I'm just saying it was just a different world with a different set of expectations. Now, you parents and I suppose kids to some degree, you want to be exposed to more opportunities like that, getting to wrestle and face.
They hide behind that facade, and it's like, are you doing this for the kid or the money? Because it's not cheap. And that's where I get a little upset, was that people are dropping big time coin to have a hitting specialist or a fielding specialist. So I know we're going to come up to a break here, but I do want to like, we're talking about old school like coaches and back in the day and stuff like that. And we're talking about technology. Like, this is an issue that the Paterno era coaching staff had an issue with, is that they used to be 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night because they were putting 8mm film together. They're taping it. They're doing this. Dude, the coach right now could pull up Penn State's 3rd down blitzes and put it into a computer and you'd watch every time that somebody blitzed us on 3rd down. That's how fast it would be. And it's like, but some of these coaches still can't get that out of their mind that I'm not grinding. I'm not working hard enough. I'm not there 28 or 16, 17 hours a day. Somebody's outworking me. They're not outworking you. You're just, you're wasting time is what you're doing, because there's so much you could do with technology nowadays. And people are, as the staffs are getting younger, they're realizing that, because that was a real issue, 10, 15 years ago. Big time issue. But to go back to the kid stuff, it started with AAU basketball. Remember doing all that? And
Yep.
I mean, I was right at the beginning of that, and it was like, I'm not going to go do that. But then it got to be, you playing in tournaments and you're playing against an all-star team, and you're like, this is insane. This is crazy. But now we're on 7-7 basketball tournaments, 7-on-7 football tournaments, flag football. And it's like, that's not football to me. I mean, that's just somebody making money on charging these kids for travel stuff and this and that. That's just how I am. I mean,
Yep.
I don't think, our guys getting scholarships from 7-on-7. I mean, if that's the case, football is going to be a real issue because it's it's not a sport.
Yep.
So, yeah, there I am. But, I mean, like I said, we go back in the day, you and I, from, it was neighborhood stuff, and you were playing a sport every freaking day. Every day you went outside. It's 16 degrees out. Okay, so we'll throw snowballs at each other. That's a sport to me.
Yeah.
You were always outside, always running around, and you didn't have the gaming system when you were growing up. We didn't have it either. My parents wouldn't allow it.
It just started. We had
my friends had them.
We had a family that had like Pong. I still remember it was like the biggest deal ever. Yep. It's like, oh man, we can go down and play Pong. It's like, let's do it. You'd go down and it's like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. No, my parents would not allow that in our home. It's crazy, but that's just the way it was. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Alan's got a question for you right there.
Yeah, ask about the Penn State Wrestling Banquet. The primary award winners, Levi Haynes got the award for most pins, Mitchell Messenbrink for most. They give one for most points scored for the team and most bonus points. And Messenbrink won both of those. I'm trying to think what the other Messenbrink won by far the most hardware.
Over Starachi.
Levi Haynes had the most pins on the season. And trying to think. I think that those were the primary. No, those are the primary awards handed out.
Hey, so before we go to break, Sunday. We're talking a little bit about wrestling. So you're talking about Cale's first title in 2011. And we know that was his first year at Penn State, but what were they doing at Iowa State when he was rocking? He was only there a year or two, right?
Yeah, well, 3 years.
3 years. Yeah. What did they do while he was the head coach? Were they very, very competitive, or were they just rebounding?
No. They had been very good.
And did he replace his coach?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I know how much he loves that guy.
Yes. Bobby Douglas is an outstanding coach, and they were. Yeah,
but they didn't win an natty.
Very good teams. Correct.
Gotcha.
We'll take a break here. Did finish as runner-up, but we'll take a break here. We are back with more. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show on this Frozen 4 Thursday.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Sorentos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drybowl Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo recruiter, And I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7. The Fox. State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back here on a Thursday afternoon. Again, getting ready for the Frozen Four tonight. We'll have live coverage of both games starting at 4:45 on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. The Nittany Lions ready to take on Boston U in the second semifinal game at 8:30 tonight. Of course, the Masters is underway. Goon, I got to tell you, some of the scenes from the par 3
are awesome.
Tournament yesterday, the one that just is going to stick with me, I think, for a long time, it was Rory McIlroy.
Hilarious, dude.
And she made just an incredible putt.
Yep.
And
she wanted nothing to do with it. She just hit the ball.
Care less.
She just hit the ball. I showed Carrie, and Carrie, we were both laughing and almost like tears in our eyes of what a great freaking moment it was.
Oh my gosh!
If anybody has a chance, look up Poppy McIlroy makes putt. That was his. She's probably 4, and then he's probably like, "Hey, take the putt, honey, take the putt." And she just went out there and just like hit the ball just to hit it and like get that offer back.
The number of golfers that would kill to have that putt.
Oh my goodness gracious!
At some point over the next 4 days.
Yep. It moved about 4 inches, and then it just started slowly creeping, and then it went down a ridge, and then it's picked up a bunch of speed, and then all of a sudden it dropped, and then her sister comes out to hug her, and she was like, what did I do? And she was like getting scared, and then Rory went to go hug her, and she was then at that point petrified.
I think she was just ready for snack time. She's like, what are you guys doing?
She just wanted out of there. She's like, okay,
find
it's in the hole, right? We can leave. Is there ice cream on the way out of here if I hit this putt? But that was, I love that par 3 tournament because, they do, like I told you the other day, the Sunday routine of what the Masters champion has. And Scheffler playing with his mom. I found that amazing, not having a mother or father anymore. I find that just absolutely awesome. And then I think I was watching some guys, and like, you talk to like a lot of NFL guys, and NFL, it's very hard for kids to see their daddy playing because there is such there's not a long window. Whereas baseball players, I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. is 13 years old, hanging out in a dugout.
Yeah,
his dad played for 20 some years. So football, you don't really have that. So you don't have like you have, Jason Kelsey with his 3 little. None of them are going to remember really any of the Super Bowls, type of thing. Whereas baseball and some other sports like basketball, where guys can play a longer time, or in LeBron James's. Have your son play on your team.
There you go.
But yeah, football doesn't have that. So when you watch golf, and the guy's wife is caddying for him on the par 3, and then the little kids are running around, they're all wearing the Masters white like caddy suits, and it's awesome. So there was one guy yesterday that Raul, I don't know how you say R-A-U is his name. Well, his wife took a par 3 shot, and she pegged it. She put it 15 feet away. Guess who carried the bag to the hole? The professional golfer.
Yeah,
she picked the bag up and gave it to him because her shot was closer than his. I just thought that was funny. She's like, "Hey, you're the caddy now. I'm closer." So the pro golfer's carrying his bag up to the putting green. So yes, I love the par 3. There's nothing about the Masters I don't like. Nothing.
Yeah, I got to tell you, they are having just a picture-perfect day. Unlike the weather we have here, it is a spectacular day, like perfect day for.
I would call
golf.
Today a French Bulldog day because
Yeah.
I have multiple French Bulldogs, and that door opens and that cold hits them and that wind hits them and there's that freezing rain that we have going on right now.
Yeah,
they give you the look like I'm just going to go on the inside.
so good.
So you're better off just putting the pads out, Mom and Dad, because I'm sure as hell not going out. So we load the pads up by the door because we know it's going to happen. I'll get home today. I took them out 3 times today, but yet I'll go home and there'll be a little spot.
There you go.
That's what they do. I'm not going out there.
They know what they want to do.
I know.
They know what they don't want to do.
And then when the grass gets cut, they will not come in because they have 42 billion things to smell out there. It's frustrating, but also fun.
Yep, that is always the case as well.
So what do you got planned this weekend, Jeffrey?
We have, mostly, we'll see. Weather dependent, mostly.
You're a week away from your trip, bud.
Running around with kiddo events and all of the fun that comes with that.
So you're in Wyoming next week.
Yep.
Next Friday.
Yep.
I told Carrie, and she looked at me. She's like, "That son of a mother."
Yeah, we are.
Are you going to do
definitely
the geyser, the Old Faithful?
Yeah, we have
a little blue orange.
We'll
aqua
do
pool.
all of the touristy things for sure, and then we have a couple of days to kind of venture out on our own as well. So
I did have to.
That'll be good.
She didn't believe me when I said Ironhead told me that 4th graders are free.
Yeah.
And I was like, you said it. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? But she went and looked it up. And she's like, the families of anybody, why would they pick 4th grade?
I don't know. I don't know what the.
So the family, the car, you, Marissa, and the turtle are free because he's a 4th grader.
Correct.
To go through, that's we were like sitting there, why? Why did they decide?
Yeah, I don't
grade?
know what the magic of
that's pretty cool though.
Is, but yeah, educational opportunities, I suppose.
And that's any national park in the country.
Correct. I don't know why you pick 4th over 5th or 3rd.
That's where we were.
Yeah, that I don't know. There has to be some history. I haven't looked that part up. And my wife may very well know that history. I just
Turtle flown before.
Yes.
Okay. His ears were good.
Yeah, pretty much.
You gotta worry about
kind of
some preventative stuff.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes.
I hope he's jacked up for it. I really do.
He is. Mom and Dad are a little stressed out, just trying to get everything caught up and done so that we're ready to go. And all kinds of things between now and then that we got to get taken care of, along with the normal schedule, along with making sure that.
Well, I took you. You don't have the show next Thursday. We got you taken care of.
That
you just picked up a whole
helps.
Afternoon, buddy.
That is probably going to help.
I called Marissa and she says, "Oh, good. The honeydew list can get bigger now."
Another few items on that list.
No, you're gonna have a good time, man.
Again, Masters underway. I don't know where exactly we're at now, but I think it's 9 or 10 guys that are at one under. It's been
Scheffler's at 3.
Again, we're one day in, but it is not even 1 day in, but it has been very very competitive in the early going.
For those that want to know, there is ESPN Plus coverage of this.
Yep.
And it is on at the Lube. Or if you want to come in tomorrow or Saturday, Sunday.
Add it to the long list of reasons you ought to be coming down here and enjoying.
Because remember back in the day, you never saw it. Now we watch them all the time.
Yeah, I think Connors, Rose, and Hatton now at 4 under in the lead.
Justin Rose, always there.
The Masters.
Canadian and 2 Englishmen. Damn it.
Yeah, it's my gosh, it really is just
it's gorgeous.
A picturesque day. I mean, like absolutely perfect on the weather front there.
Always
at the Masters here today.
You watch the Masters, then you go outside and it's 13 degrees here. You're like, what's going on here?
No, the wind is the thing. Not as much today, maybe, but boy, yesterday was just brutal. So we had, which I love doing. I love doing the state high games, but it was chilly and a little windy. Now I'm out of the elements to some degree there. But then I go to my kiddo's baseball practice. I was only there for the last hour or so of his 2-hour practice. But, oh, man, it is a biting wind. And then the field, they did some hitting practice out in the field kind of next to the ballpark because another group was scheduled an hour in, which they knew. But so we went over and it was just so wet, and then the wind and it's like, oh, this is just miserable. But kids did not seem to mind nearly as much.
Did they hit
as the adults?
Are the bats different nowadays where it doesn't sting as much?
Yeah. Well, those torpedo bats are really helping the kids.
Gotcha. The composite bats where they take it all off the hands and stuff. That was the worst part about baseball in the North was that my Major League, Little League tryouts when you're 10 and 11, 12 years old, and it's March and you're out there hitting and it's 13 degrees outside with a biting wind and you're trying to hit the ball
a little bit.
Oh, goodness. I don't miss that one bit, man. Not even a little bit. Now I have friends who live down south and they're like, oh my God, my kid will never even touch a football pad because he's going to play baseball year round. And I'm like, there's also why kids burn the hell out too. That's definitely a thing down there. I told you about my buddy Adam Pyatt down in he's in the Fort Myers area, but he was a Major League Baseball player, and he has his son on a strict pitch count because he's like, they would pitch him every day or every week for 52 straight weeks. I mean, there's no downtime when you're playing year round when you have this beautiful weather, and you need to watch that because you only have so much in there. And he was telling me, like, look at the relievers in Major League Baseball. Like, honest to God, he goes, like, 75% of the ones that are born in America are from the northern part, Mason-Dixon line, because the southern kids get their arms just completely worn out and blown out because they're playing year-round. I mean, it's easy to do that. But, you got to have the downtime and all that stuff. And
concept.
But you imagine that just playing a sport year-round when you're growing up. I mean, you and I, we've often talked about how much we loved going from football to basketball to baseball. That was always the thing. Throwing some track and field every once in a while in that, some swimming in the summer. But, that was the normal routine right there.
Yes. And I just think there's a natural, I don't know. ebb and flow to that, and I do think there's some merit to keeping the competitive fire stoked by doing those different things, along with not getting burned out. Like it's like, oh yeah, I'll try these skills for a few months. Now I'll try these skills, and instead of constantly working on one. And again, it's not a one size fits all, but I do think that size fits the majority of folks.
I know
than what we have.
We've talked about it in the past. You've heard me tell the story. Remember? Do you ever tell you the story of why my high school basketball senior year?
No.
Nick, we were we had won, like, we were runner-up for the city title. We lost to Roman Catholic 2 straight years in my sophomore and junior year.
Yeah.
Senior year, I'm Johnny All-American football player. Can go any school I want in the country, all this and all that, on these recruiting visits. My recruiting visits were Sunday night and Monday mornings. I mean, how much good times you get to have on a Sunday night and on an away trip type of thing. So on an official visit to Penn State on Sunday night, and everybody's hungover and tired, and it's 12 degrees out. It stunk. But I told my dad my senior year. So I got done football. I'm like, Dad, I'm not going to play basketball this year. I said, I just want to lift weights and get ready to go play at Penn State. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get bigger and stronger. He knew exactly what I wanted to do. He knew exactly that I wanted to go out partying, drinking, and chasing women, girls, women, whatever we at that age. So I have a conversation with my high school basketball coach, Marty Jackson, and he's like, "Oh, okay. Oh, you're not going to play, huh? Oh, wow. Okay." He goes, "Well, think about it overnight, and we'll talk tomorrow." I said, "Okay." And I'm like, "I'm not playing." And then I go outside, and Johnny Butler's busting my chops, and my buddy Ernie Koshner, he's like, "Come on, man, what the hell?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm going to Penn State. I'm not going to play basketball. I get bigger and stronger, And they're all looking at me like, yeah, because they knew exactly what I wanted to do too. So I go home. My dad comes home from work that night at 5:30, and he's like, "Hey, I want to talk to you." I said, "Okay." I said, "What's this I hear about you not playing basketball?" I said, "How the hell do you know that?" I said, "I don't think I want to play." I said, I need to get bigger and stronger. I got to get ready to play football at Penn State." And he goes, "Okay. Here's the deal." He goes, "What time you done school every day?" I said, "About 2:05. He goes, "I'll pick you up at 2:15 out front of the building. I'll bring you to work," which was the tire shop. And he goes, "You can throw tires around for 3 hours, and you'll get big and strong."
That'll work.
And I'm like, damn it. He called my bluff. Because, again, I knew what I wanted to do, and he knew what I wanted to do. So that night I decided I was going to play basketball because I didn't want to go to be an afternoon tire man. So I get back to work to school the next day, and I see my head basketball coach, Marty Jackson, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Let me tell you a little bit about something about loyalty." And he had that look of, he's PO'd. And I look at him. I said, "Marty, I'm coming back. I want to play." He goes, "What?" I said, "I want to play." So he's like, "Oh, that's great." You can see the relief on his face. He goes, "Let's go. I want one more shot at this Roman Catholic team," and stuff like that. So lo and behold, I could put 2 and 2 together. Marty Jackson went right to my dad's shop after class that day, after me and him had that meeting. And he says, "Moon, we got to get this kid to play him." And then, my dad put the fear of God in me, saying, "You're going to go, you can lift as many tires and throw around as many tires as you want. You're going to be big and strong going to Penn State." To me going to Marty and stuff like that. So there's not a doubt, because I knew as soon as my dad came home and he says, "What's this I hear about you not playing basketball?" I knew that Marty had stopped by the office, stopped by his shop, and lo and behold, I won. And I did not win. I went and played basketball and stuff like that. And then we ended up playing Roman for the 3rd straight year with Marvin Harrison and a couple of Division I basketball players. We lost by 34. So one last shot we went after was
not exactly the.
We took it to overtime my junior year, and they beat us on a last second shot in my junior year. But my senior year, we lost by 34. It was one of those. They gave me 3 fouls in the first quarter, Jeff. All I was doing was setting picks, and I was a very physical player.
No, I can't.
And they were very, very, very good basketball players who were tall, lanky, thin guys.
Yeah.
And I was playing football and they were playing basketball, and I was charged 3 times with fouling them. in the first quarter, so I missed the whole second quarter. This and that. We had a sophomore in there playing, and we were down by 19 at halftime. So that's the one. That's why I came back to get that shot at Roman Catholic and Marvin Harrison. But we got Marvin my junior year in football. We beat their ass. Oh, we beat them bad. Marvin was crying.
Payback,
so
baby.
Speaking of Marvin, so listen to this. You said you had 5 athletes in your neighborhood. There were 5 Division I athletes. Like all the same year,
really
or like
down, no. But still 5 from one neighborhood.
So I have
different years.
Yeah, if you put
3
Marvin
within a year of each other.
Marvin grew up in West Philly. That's 15 miles from where I grew up. So Eddie George grew up a mile from where I grew up. Sean Wooden from Notre Dame, and he went to the Miami Dolphins for a long time. And then a guy named Mark Zadovetsky, who was Notre Dame starting center for my year. We were all class of 1991. There's 5 of us within a 15-mile window, 5 different high schools.
Is that right?
Could you imagine if we had all gone to the same? Like Eddie George had gone to. He was at a prep school. He was at Fork Union down in Virginia. That's where he went. He was not an upper grad. He was a regular. K through 12 for Fork Union. And then Sean and Mark, they both went to Notre Dame, but they played at Abington and Bishop McDevitt. So we would have gone to the same school. Can you imagine that? It's, I mean, going off on these tangents today, but Carrie will tell you, I have people who come to my hometown, and I don't know what it is. I truly, truly believe it's 3 Mile Island, like that was flowing down in the Philadelphia area that day, because we're mutants. I mean, we'll go down and play my mom and dad's golf tournament, which we haven't done in like 4 years. But for the 20 years that we did it, she would come down and she would be like, dude, every one of your friends are like 6'4" and above. And we all are. Yeah. It's like crazy that it's like this little window. There's like a 10-year window in my little hometown. We had like 15 Division I football players, basketball players, I had a guy go and play basketball at where Bo Kimball and Hank Gathers, Loyola Marymount, from my hometown.
Okay.
You know? Actually, Jed Dunning, who's a real good friend, Johnny O'Connell. Seriously.
Yeah.
So it's like there was something in the water, because he was 6'11", and then we had all these great football players like in this little like a 5 mile, 10 mile an hour region. It was crazy, that era. Good football, good. Like, but we grew up playing basketball against each other in every sport, basketball, football, baseball, all the time. And that's why you see these guys at the bars when you go home, and we're all fat and out of shape, but we have some great war stories though.
Back in the day, baby.
Absolutely, man.
Back in the day.
Yep.
No, that's
pork roll and beer, baby. That's how you get
cool.
Division I scholarships.
We're going to take a break here. When we come back, I do want to talk a little bit more about this Penn State-Boston matchup tonight. Boston, by the way, a 1.5 goal favorite going into the game. Not exactly unfamiliar territory for Penn State, because the Nittany Lions have been pretty much the underdog, period, since the very
It's a
start
lot
of the
closer
season.
than people would think.
And listen, I think, we'll get into it. We'll take a break here, and we'll start to really talk about the game tonight, some of the keys that we think will be there for Penn State to emerge with a victory or to see its remarkable season come to an end. But we will talk about all of that and much more as we continue. Again, it is our Thursday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are here at Quaker Steak and Lube. Great place to come on down and watch all of these sports. You can enjoy some great food and beverage as well. And, they do have the best staff around.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Sorentos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dropwood Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
Back here on a Thursday afternoon. It is Frozen 4 Day. And again, we'll have live coverage starting at 4:45 Western Michigan and Denver. We'll lead things off at 5 o'clock. And then at 8:30, the face-off tonight between Penn State and Boston University.
Praying for 8:30.
With the opportunity for a spot in the national title game, which will be at 7:30 in St. Louis on Saturday night. And I have to believe that, well, I really don't. I think there is pressure. I mentioned earlier, I don't think there's any pressure on Penn State. I mean, I think these guys, right, like the seniors, this is your opportunity. Well, you're feeling pressure. Like this is, you have one shot here to try to win a national title. You want to go ahead and take advantage of it. So, but it does feel like they're largely playing with house money at this point. They've obviously already gone where no other Penn State team has gone before in advancing to the Frozen Four. And regardless of what happens tonight and or Saturday, the legacy is secure. And to do it with the turnaround part of the season that they have put together will make this forever one of the all-time great special milestone, crazy good seasons in Penn State hockey history. It's just now, again, how crazy good can you make it? But so I think, again, if they were to lose tonight, I don't think anybody's going to be feeling like, oh man, what a disappointment. Like, you'll be disappointed in the moment, obviously, with the loss. Man, we wanted to win the national title. But I think most hockey fans are going to take a quick step back and say, wow, was that cool? What a season. Now, again, I think there's a couple of reasons. I really like Penn State's chances tonight. I really do. And I watched Boston. Obviously, that is a great team, an amazing tradition, and they're hungry. I think, was it 2009? I think was their last national title. They're in their third straight Frozen Four, so they've been knocking on the door here.
Yeah.
But
we played them before in Allentown.
Yeah, but it's been a while. 2009, again, the last national title, and they're fairly accustomed to winning national titles. So this is a long drought by Boston University.
Boston. Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Denver. I apologize.
No, this is by Boston University measures.
And they're like, think about
that.
They're a absolute blue blood in college hockey.
Oh, for sure.
Like, big time. Like, we got to think about this. This is playing a Notre Dame, a Michigan, or an Ohio State, or a USC, or an Alabama in football. That's what's going on right now. And we're Boise State. Hammered around, got it in a couple times, but never really made the dance. But, I think that's where we're at right now if we're going to go with a football type of matchup. But what is the key? What is the key to every tournament in the history of hockey?
And that's one of the reasons I like their chances. Sergeyev has just been standing on his head in goal, is playing with a ton of confidence. The team has a ton of confidence in him. And yes, almost inevitably to win a championship in the sport of hockey, any level, you got to have good goaltending.
And I'm going to tell you, Boston better have a hot goalie, because we put a lot of rubber on the net, man.
Yeah, so this is
all the time. Not like we had bad periods the other day, and they were still getting 12 shots on the goal.
Yes, and this is the thing. If you make a mistake, so I think Penn State, to your point, is very opportunistic. Like, this is a team, man, you make a mistake, you turn that over. More often than not, this team makes you pay. Their power play has been sensational here in the postseason. I mean, sensational. They are just a team that is rolling right now. Now, you can say the same thing about Denver, about Western Michigan, and certainly about Boston University. Again, you don't get to the Frozen Four because, man, you're not playing that well down the stretch. So I get it. All of these teams come in with momentum. Again, it's just like the Final Four in college basketball. But I think there's a different type of excitement around this Penn State team. They have been playing with their backs against the wall, again, since January. They really have. And I almost think at this point, Goon, they're, again, internally, I don't know exactly what's being said, but I think and I hope that they're telling each other, man, let's just go out and let it fly. Like, we have been able to respond every time. Now, let's just go finish this off by doing what we've been doing for the last several months, but maybe even ratcheting up the fun we're going to have, the energy we're going to bring. I think that layoff, and again, probably helps all of the teams. Everybody gets a little banged up at this stage of the season.
Sure.
Nobody's going into this game with everybody, all hands on deck in terms of everybody's feeling 100%, or everybody has all of the players that they'd like to have available. But I think that time off for Penn State, because they were running on fumes. I mean, you could see it in that UConn game. Well, now you're able to get your legs back under you. I think they have this thing in perspective, listening to Guy, listening to some of the player comments leading into this thing. I think they're just super pumped. They know, obviously, Boston University, outstanding tradition, outstanding team this year, a ton of talent, very good goaltender in their own right, all of it. But I just think there's a different confidence that Penn State has right now because of the fact that they've had to win these games down the stretch for several months. I just think it gets you hardened in a different way than even Boston U.
They go down 3 goals. It doesn't matter. We're still we've come back. We've done this. We've done that. Let's just keep rolling, man. I think the Guy plays that so well. It's just like, we are who we are. Let's just do what we do. Can't worry about what the other team's doing. If they're scoring goals, we got to score goals. But just keep doing what we're doing. Don't change your game. Don't sit there and say, well, we're a defensive team now. No, I don't think guys like that. I think guys like, hey, this is who we are. Let's roll with it.
Well, and I also think
you're about ready to get puck checked, man.
Well, the other thing, though, I love the way these guys have kind of settled into their roles, understand their roles, and also, much like as a team, I was talking about them being opportunistic. Each of these players, all right, this is my general role, but man, if the puck comes to me and I have the opportunity, but I think of guys like Dowiak and Serrato, who has been,
amazing,
one of the real heroes. Obviously, you know what you have in Aiden Fink, and we've talked about him, and I think the way he has handled
not scoring
the 6-game drought here of not scoring, and that's the thing. You feel like at some point, and
he's coming
pretty
out
much
of
if
that,
it
man.
is at some point, it's got to be now because we've got 2 games left. But you do feel like at some point, man, he's just going to have that breakout game where he's been so close, and boom, they're just going to start going in. Well, if that happens tonight, look out, because the confidence that I think the team will feed off of him getting a goal or 2 it's going to be hard to explain. DeMarco has been obviously sensational with the energy level he brings. Simon Mack has been like the quarterback there for this team. Like you talk about it all coming together, and you think about the great stories in hockey, whether it's your team's Stanley Cups or the 1980 the Ultimate team, the 1980 U.S. hockey team. But it's all of these guys that just come together. And Batista was talking about this a little bit with us this morning. Goon, where while Penn State has a lot of talent, they don't have what Boston University has talent-wise. Like Penn State has 4 or 5 guys that could get to the NHL. Boston has like 10 to 15 guys that could be getting to the NHL. So it's not, there's a legitimate reason why Penn State is the underdog. But hockey, I guess all sports, but hockey is such a game of chemistry, leadership, knowing, believing, trusting what you guys are doing. And you watch Penn State play, and they have complete trust in one another. They have complete trust in what the coaches are asking them to do. And I think really importantly, Goon, you've seen them be able to win different styles of games against different styles of teams. And I think the way Sergeyev is playing, I think the way these guys are not looking to be the hero per se, but I think every one of them is willing to step up. Like, I don't think there's anybody afraid to try to be that hero in the moment if the opportunity presents itself. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I could be eating my words.
Tomorrow. Enough hockey.
I think there's something special happening.
I know enough
really
hockey
special
to be a little bit dangerous. I mean, neither of us ever played the game.
Yep.
But I think we both are dangerous because of our knowledge of the game. You can get 4 lines going.
Yeah,
where you're putting pressure on that goalie 4 lines deep, and then your 4th line is your bunch of crash guys, go out there, take the body, do this and do that, make something happen. But if you can get production and give those first 2 or 3 lines a little respite, a little break, that's fantastic.
Yes,
Boston can roll out 4 because they have the talent to do that. So
they do.
Our 12 forwards better, 12 forwards better be ready to rock and roll tonight. And that is that we've taken on, like you said, we've seen everything. We've seen the blue bloods come in. Like, Maine is a blue blood.
No doubt.
And I'm pretty sure that they may have overlooked Penn State a little bit. And I'm sure that Boston's coach is reminding his team of that, saying, don't overlook these guys. And our guys love being overlooked. I mean, Guy's going to say it. It may not be the truth, but he's going to tell them, you weren't good enough to play for Boston. Yep. You played at Penn State. You wanted to be here. You could have gone there. Let's get it going, rock and rolling. I love the game. I do love the game of hockey, and I love watching teams that I really, really like do very well. And tonight is one of those nights where I'm very much looking forward to this so much because, my relationship with Guy and our interview last week and how fun it was. You have no idea how many people have said that was an unbelievable interview. I was laughing. We loved it. He is such a good guy. I'm like, dude, like I said it a million times. He's an easy guy to root for, man. He's just an easy dude to root for. And it's like, you meet him one time, you're like, I want that guy to succeed, and he's just so even keel on life, man.
Well,
love him.
And honestly, Goon, the kids are easy to root for, and I think it's one of those things. It really does remind me in some ways of the wrestling program in that
in 11
the support staff that they have there, all pulling in the same direction. You go back to the vision Joe Batista had and others, and then Terry Pagola obviously is the reason all of this is being allowed to happen. His willingness to step up and say, "Yep, we're going to make hockey big time, and we're going to make it special here in Happy Valley." And you look at.
I love seeing the growth of it, just from the inception to where it's at right now.
Yes, but you look at the arena itself. I mean, not only all right. Yep, it is a big time arena. It is. Perfect. I would argue still the premier arena.
Did Joe talk about that
in the sport? I mean, that is a big draw, for sure. For Penn State to be able to get talent in, such as what they have, so that you can make a run like this. But you just think about all of the club teams that they had, and those players who won the club championships. They're taking a special kind of pride in being able to watch their team
and how Guy is treating those guys.
Yep.
They weren't Division I guys. They were a very high-end club hockey team.
Yep.
But he has no. You were a Penn State ice hockey player,
which
you know what I mean?
They absolutely were.
Where some guys be like, well, you weren't on a Division I program, right. And he has never, and none of his guys have ever acted like that. And he has bought all of those Letterman into the fold and all that. Just a fantastic job. So Joe did talk about the arena.
Oh yeah,
on how they did it.
Yeah,
they went to the top 15 places around the country, and they took the best of the best of the best of what they saw as awesome in certain arenas and put them in Pagola with the suites, the overhangs. The best one I saw was the Roar crowd.
The roar zone.
The roar zone. How if you look at the student section, that's steep.
Yep.
As hell. And I think that Notre Dame has one of them, and they took that idea from Notre Dame where they wanted that goalie 2 times in that game to feel as this crowd is right on my back right now. And if you look, they really, really are compared to the other side where it's a little open, open up. This is straight up with that student section. God, we didn't talk about it. How about what Guy said about the roar zone coming out there?
Yeah.
He said the guys didn't know that. For those who didn't listen to it, Guy said our players didn't know that they were going to be out there, and they walked out there, skated out there, and all the students were there from the roar zone. And he said it just pepped them up so much. It got them all kinds of jacked up versus Maine. That's just a cool thing. And then what my friend Chris was telling me, what Guy did for the roar zone, and they had senior night, and they called out all the seniors from the roar zone, dude. Like you don't see that.
Yeah,
not right then. It's just, that's how you ingrain yourself in a society and in a town and in the university, is to get people that are students, get them involved in something like that. They're just cheering. Good for them, and they're celebrated, man. It's amazing. I told you I'm looking forward to this game. I'm watching the clock here. I'm like, all right, we got 40 more minutes, and I can go home and get ready to watch this game. I can't wait. Just.
I am really curious to see what the crowd is like.
Read my mind, buddy.
Too.
I think the locals that are just hockey fans, I think they got to root for Penn State out there.
I think that's the case too. But I don't know. I'm again. We'll find out.
Well, I'm going to say the winner of the first game's fans are going to stay after and say, okay, we want Penn State. We don't want to play Boston, but you don't want that. Watch what you wish for.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how many folks made the trip from Happy Valley for this. Again, that first time experience is just, there is something extremely special
it's
about
weird
that.
To be St. Louis because it doesn't. I mean, I know that they have the St. Louis Blues out there. I get that.
Yeah.
Is there colleges out there?
Yeah, St. Louis hosts a ton of NCAA events. They have a really good, and it's a great city to hold it in. That area around the arena is great. Between there and the Cardinals Stadium is just a great venue. But they've hosted a lot of NCAA wrestling championships, which obviously I've been to, but they host. St. Louis is
that's Missouri,
very common host city for NCAA championship events.
But is there a hockey team out there, a collegiate hockey program? Who was sponsoring? I mean, you know what I mean? Who was out there that they would go to St. Louis because it's a northern.
Yeah,
Mid-Atlantic.
I think it's more the city.
It's just weird to have it there. And you have all these fans traveling.
Yeah, I think it's fans are going to travel wherever the championships
everybody I've talked to has absolutely said it. They swear that it's a great hockey town with the St. Louis Blues and stuff like that. But I just don't know of any colleges down there, specifically colleges that play hockey. Hey, what it is, man.
Yeah, no, I think
I think that the locals who go there that are hockey fans, I think that they're gonna be rooting for Penn State because that is the classic underdog routine, the underdog role. Again, you can't write this script. Start off the Big Ten 0-8, going in your pregame practice 0-9 in your Big Ten. I mean, and now you're literally 2 games and winning from the national, not a Big Ten title, a national title. Can't write that, man.
No, it is. You're right. It's a storybook and then some, and we'll see if they can write the perfect ending here to cap it off. And again, we'll have live coverage of both Frozen Four games, the semifinals, starting with Denver and Western Michigan. Our coverage will begin at 4:45 here this afternoon. And listen, this is one of those where I don't know that it much matters with either of these teams. Sometimes if one team gets the lead, the other can,
sit back.
The defense will be. I just don't know that with the firepower both of these teams have. I mean, would you rather get the first goal?
Sure.
Of course, any team in any sport, yeah, you'd like to get the first points on the board. I just don't know that any of that really matters. It's going to be just an all-out battle for at least 3 periods, and I don't know. Like, I don't even know if you can say, like, again, do you want to get more shots? Do you want to get more power play? Yep, all of that.
Sure.
And could you win if none of that happens? If Boston scores first, if you don't get a power play goal, and vice versa. I mean, Boston is like, they're not going to be phased if Penn State gets the first goal or even the first couple of goals. It's not like, oh man, now we got to really press. No, they've been there. They know the routine. That their coaching staff not going to be flustered. Again, we've got to go out and be physical. Well, yeah, both teams want to go out and be the more physical team. I don't. This is one of those games where, again, I don't know that you could be dominated or dominate that first period. And again, you'll be feeling good or bad either way. But it's like, okay, well, the second period, Boston, if Penn State dominates, you're like, yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean, we saw against Connecticut. You can go out and dominate a period and then it can mean nothing. The other team may make the change. And again, vice versa. If Penn State comes out and gets dominated in the first period, I think Guy in the company can make the adjustments, and they may come out and dominate the second and third periods. It's going to be a fun game to watch because I think there are so many unknowns, no history here between the teams.
Oh, there's history. There's history.
There's just so many matchups that it's like, man, I don't know. I want to see how that plays out. I don't know. I think this is just going to be a really, really fun night for hockey fans. Great opportunity, obviously, for Penn State. And I hope, I'm sure there's going to be some nerves here at the start of the game. Inevitable. And I think both teams, again, I don't care how often you've been there.
Sure.
If you're Boston University, you have some players that haven't been, and even if you have,
play one Rose Bowl,
you're still in the Frozen Four. Like, all right, we're 2 wins away. So I think nerves are going to be there at the start of the game for both teams. But I think both teams will settle down pretty quickly, and I just think it's going to be a fun
It'll
game.
be fun. I just think that. I think that Penn State's going to go out there with the attitude like, hey, this is completely borrowed money. This is house money we're playing with right now, man. Absolutely. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Have fun with it. They go down a couple goals. I don't think they're going to get discouraged. Same as Boston, though.
Yeah.
Boston's going to sit there and say, come on now. We're the blue blood. We're the old school team. We can do this. These guys are nothing type of thing. Play that angle. But I just love everything about it. I mean, the whole aspect of it. And then, it feels pretty good going in there with a goalie named Sergeyev. So that helps me a little bit. So, I talk about the game against Connecticut the other day. I remember his name forever, Tongue.
Yep.
Like, if he wasn't there, Penn State wins 7-2.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And Sergeyev, was making some unbelievable saves, but they were peppering Tongue in the first and second period, and even in the overtime. Yeah. So, Boston their goalie and defense be ready. They better be ready to go, or Penn State's going to go up quick 3 like they did against Michigan State when we were watching that a couple of weeks ago. When me and you were texting each other, I said, "Oh, it's senior night. Oh, this is not good." They're going to, no one loses on senior night, especially when you're number 1 team in the country. And then Penn State went on to Michigan State and put 3 on them in the first 15 minutes.
And listen, I do think the experiences that this team has gone through, I do think their ability to draw on that matters tonight. And I don't know. I have a very good feeling going into the game. I really do. I love the way they're playing. I love the camaraderie they have and the feeling they have about each other and the opportunity that is at hand. And I think it is one of those situations where, as much as they want to win the national title, they don't want the season to end. They want to keep this thing going. And I think that's a part of them. Even if they win the national title, they're going to be a little bummed that they don't get to go play more hockey with this team again. Like there's going to be a little sadness just over that.
Do you ever hear Ruzioni talk about that?
Yeah.
Ruzioni says the last time they were all together when they visited, I believe it was the White House, they all went and bused together, and they were on the bus out of there, and they were all pretty much crying because it was like, this is the last time we're all going to be together as a team. And another thing you got to look out for is if Boston's been there 3 straight years and they've not won it. So there's going to be an added pressure for them if they go down early that like, oh God, here we go again. And there's going to be like that collar gets a little tighter when something like that goes on. So let's take that into account.
All right. Well, let's go get the first goal then.
And the second and the third.
There you go.
Give me all 4, baby. All 4.
All right. We're taking a break here. Back with a final segment. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube. Here till 4 o'clock. You can come on down, watch the Masters, watch the Frozen Four tonight. Major League Baseball, all of it on hand here at Quaker Steak and Lube. And you can do so while enjoying great food and beverage. And, of course, having that served by the best staff around. We're coming right back on Sports Radio 98.7.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Sorentos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dropwood Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS. Once again.
The Fox.
Your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox. State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
All right, Goon. Fourth quarter.
There we go,
Let's
baby.
bring it. It is the Lion Country Kid, Goon and Ironhead show. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube, and counting down the moments now to Penn State and Boston U tonight in the Frozen Four. And yeah, coming off a good day actually for both of our baseball teams yesterday. Of course, you're used to your team doing well. But, Trey Turner coming
Phillies,
up
Flyers,
big.
and Sixers all won yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a common occurrence.
Flyers had a crazy third period.
I looked at it. It was 5-5 at one point, and then I was like, "What the?"
Yeah,
8-5,
2-2 going into the third.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, 8-5 final. So Flyers get that win. The Penguins, of course, keeping the dream alive for a 500 season. They need to win the final three here.
Listen,
to make.
I have sympathy for your Pittsburgh Pirates. I really do, but there's not 1 ounce of sympathy for that Penguinos team
I
or your
understand.
Steelers.
I did.
So
ask,
we got to do some homework. You got to do some homework over the weekend, Head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need your first round pick because you're not going to be here after Tuesday.
Yeah, I did ask Joba about Alex Ovechkin getting the record-breaking goal, and it was just one of those goals when Gretzky said it. It's like, well, that nobody's gonna match that. It's not very long thereafter in the relative scope of things. Here comes Ovechkin and does break it, and he's has a chance to smash it before it's said and done. I will see how long he keeps going here, but just incredible stuff. But you're talking about it's when Ovechkin first came in, and just to say it's the same way. It's like, man, you just didn't. We're Penguins fans. And it's like, man, I root for Crosby, but you see the respect that Crosby and hockey across the board has for.
Did you see what Ovechkin did last night to Fleury?
The right way, and he did it. He got the goal the right way, right? He said, no, I don't want to be in there with the empty netter possible attempt in the previous game. Like, no, let's hold off, and it sets up for that moment where it is the prototypical Ovechkin.
It was. That was how many goals from that spot, top of the slot right there.
So good stuff.
So did you see what Ovechkin did for Fleury? And that was like a week or two ago that it was the last time they were playing them. And he ran into their locker room, the Capitals locker room, and said, hey, get back out here. And they lined up and all shook Fleury's hand.
Yeah.
And that's a respect right there that, and Ovechkin doesn't have like that, is he a great teammate type of thing? But you look at that, he actually does.
Oh, yeah.
He truly, truly does have the respect of his teammates. And now there's a guy who doesn't really do much. He can score goals. We had, Bob Johnson on here a couple of years ago, the old, Penguins GM and coach. And then I'm sure Joe Bautista brought it up. But if you take away Mario Lemieux's injuries and then in his Hodgkin's disease, I think he was averaging 0.75 goals a game.
Yeah.
And Ovechkin and Gretzky average 0.6 a game. So I believe that they played 300 some more games than him. But you mean just and the thing that I bring up about Bob Johnson is because that what he said, he goes, Lemieux was out, on the power play, on the penalty kill, on this, on that. He was doing all of that stuff. Where Gretzky and Ovechkin were truly, truly, truly just offensive, like geniuses. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's unbelievable what they did. But it was one of those things that you knew it might be broken. It was like the 70 home run thing or the 61 home run thing with Mantle when McGuire took it.
Felt more untouchable to me than that.
I have always marveled at the points total that Gretzky had.
Yeah.
He's got over 2,000 assists.
Yeah.
Like that's untouchable. The total points scored is completely untouchable. But I mean, I didn't, you know, you knew it was going to take somebody, a pretty unbelievable player to get to that goal list, and he got it. I mean, he is an unbelievable player, but again, he's a one-faceted type of player like a Gretzky. You know, Gretzky wasn't out there killing penalties. He was on the power play for sure. Gretzky was on the power play, but you know, it takes, you know, he could play a little bit longer that type of way.
Yeah,
and then I talked so Kerry asked me how good was Gretzky, and I would just say he was the mid to late 70s. Was he getting in there? I mean, look at the league then. It was the Goons of like Philadelphia Flyers, the Bullies, Boston, the Rangers, the Blackhawks. These St. Louis Blues were the toughest team in the league. The Buffalo Sabres were crazy. I mean, think about that league then, of what they were doing, and you have this phenom come in here and just skate circles around those guys. And that's what he was doing. He was just so much more faster and more agile than all these guys out there. And not to make a reference to a movie, but it was like Youngblood when everybody's screaming to hit him. And they're like, he can't catch him. No one can catch him to hit him. And that's the way Gretzky was. Yeah. He was a different game than Ovechkin. That's how I feel. You know, I mean, physically, there's two completely different bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, Gretzky was 155 pounds soaking wet probably. Ovechkin's a big, thick dude.
Yes.
I mean, think about that. Like, his career goes back to him and Malkin. Like, they were bordering on the communism. like it was sort of still going on with the whole, you know, they're coming out of communism in Russia and stuff, how they were going to get here coming from the KHL when they were signing all these agreements over there.
Yep.
Like, didn't Malkin take a cargo ship here? Like, that's the rumor that he had taken a cargo ship and then Gretzky had him in Phoenix or something like that. I mean, just that was 20 years ago. I mean, that's how far this has come from Eastern Europe to where we're at right now with the Russians and stuff.
Yeah.
I did see a pretty cool one today. It was an interview with Gretzky, and he was talking about when they were getting ready and they were playing the Russians when it was Moscow Dynamo, like CCCP. And he goes, I bought the 5 OBs, like Larionov, Musseltanov, you know, all these guys, they all OV at the end of their name. And then the head coach. He goes, we're in Ontario, and my parents live 20 minutes away. He's like, why don't you guys come over for dinner? So they go over to his house for dinner, and, of course, they bring the KGB agents. So he goes, we got to go downstairs into our basement. And I told my friend, and he mentioned the guy's name. He said, stay here and don't let those guys down there. And he goes, they went downstairs and they had beer. And I was like, really? Like, that was a big thing that they could get a beer.
Huh.
I mean, how bad is that? Like, yeah, they went down there and they were like, leave them, keep the KGB guys up there because they went downstairs to have a beer and talk. And they couldn't do that in front of them. That was just weird to me, man. Like, wow. I mean, that was 25, 30 years ago. Well, I guess it probably would be the 80s, so maybe 40 years ago now.
Yeah, the time.
Well, the 90s are only the 90s were this last decade, weren't they?
Time does keep marching on here.
Mommy Nature does not. She's undefeated, buddy.
That is a fact. Always and forever. We were talking a little bit about the proposed settlement here with the NCAA. And
I can't believe I didn't say it. I would not want Pat Kraft's job. Sorry, get it out of the way right now.
Well, I was listening to Joe Ladowski earlier today, and the guest he had on talking about the future and the finances here for the athletic departments as a whole, for the football programs in particular, and how this is one of the moving parts that we didn't talk about that is definitely going to be there is the deal right now is being paid for by the TV revenue. Well, that TV revenue, now there's going to be revenue between streaming, TV, and whatever else, whatever we're going to evolve or, depending on your perspective, devolve into with the sports coverage and the entertainment value of it. What I just hadn't really thought about this particular component is the different, the arrangement that potentially could occur that will be different for the different conferences. I mean, you have some differences right now. Obviously, SEC, Big Ten have their own networks, and they're working things out there. But as we go, what is unknown right now is what this streaming revenue is going to look like in terms of, all right, does this go to, some of it is going to get to the student athletes one way or another. We know that. But if it strictly becomes, all right, well, how many viewers, the suggestion was that instead of, now you're getting this money up front, and the networks that are like banking that they'll be able to go out and sell. That may not be the way this works in the future. It may be, yep, you'll get your revenue based on what the numbers are that the streaming brings in.
Wow.
And listen, we've already seen, right, like the Big Ten is a little bit the outlier in that everybody gets the same, whether you're, Northwestern, that's not bringing a lot of eyeballs to the set, or Ohio State, which brings the most eyeballs to the set.
Are you saying the SEC doesn't split evenly?
How much will this change when we get to? If we get to, I shouldn't say when. If we get to, all right. Well, Penn State is bringing in, again, make up the numbers, but 5 million viewers for this game, and then this game over here.
Are you talking about paid viewers? They got to pay like Peacock to be on there, or a paid site that they got to pay for each individual game?
No, I'm saying for the schools. Like right now, everything it's paid up front. Like they have this whatever it is. Was it a 10-year deal? I'm not even sure that wraps up.
ESPN,
20,
ABC,
30,
all that. Okay,
yeah. Once that deal goes away, is there another deal like that waiting, or multiple deals, or do these services say, well, no, like we'll provide coverage and we'll pay you based on, X amount per 1,000 or 100,000 viewers we get? I don't know the answer to it. Maybe it will be just like it's done, and maybe the money will be even bigger, but maybe not. And I hadn't even considered that possibility. And again, one of the issues here is going to be, again, in professional sports leagues, right? Like, and it's done differently, obviously, with Major League Baseball versus the NFL versus the NBA versus the NHL and Major League Soccer and all of the other sports entities. They all have their own way of handling this, but there is at least the recognition that, like Major League Baseball, you have to have the Cubs and the Pirates and the Royals, maybe not necessarily in the cities that they're currently in, but you have to have, the 30-ish teams in order to have your league and to make it work. Moving down the road here, I am still not at all sure that we're going to have that in. I think you'll have it in football and basketball. You'll have enough people that are in big time. Yep. It might be many fewer than what we have now, but you're going to have enough that makes it worthwhile. Are you going to have enough that are willing to go, quote unquote, in big time? Even in sports like baseball, I mean, some sports that are pretty, soccer, baseball, sports that attract a good number of fans, have good followings. Hockey's more of a like hockey and wrestling and lacrosse even more so. But even the sports like soccer or that are a little more widespread. I don't know when I don't know what this is going to look like in terms of how the revenue sharing is going to be agreed upon. We've touched on it, but
I have an honest question.
I don't know how much football and basketball entities are going to be willing to continue to share that revenue as things continue to get tighter and tighter. And I do think they're going to get tighter here. There might be more money involved, but I'm saying there's going to be less wiggle room in terms of, all right, if you want to compete at the highest level, this is what you've got to invest.
I have an honest question for you. Now, if we're profit sharing with our athletes, are they not employees?
Well, yes.
That's the whole another can of worms right there with the disability and injuries.
Yeah. Well,
are they under Penn State's insurance? Are they unionized? Are they
and how does that money get? Yeah, how does that money get funded? How does it get divvied up? And again, if you're looking at that from let's stick with football. From a football perspective, it's like, yeah, we've got all of these costs associated with a sport that is bringing in big time revenue. I just don't know how much longer football in particular is going to say, oh yeah, no, by all means, give some of this money that we're bringing in to. And again, pick the sport, whatever your favorite sport is. I'm not sure that's going to hold up here long term.
No, like I said, my question the other day, I don't know if I posed it right to you, and that is that like we picked up scholarships for all these Olympic sports. Like there's double the scholarships, triple the scholarships.
Yeah.
Where is that money coming from?
Well, once
we're already deducted, which one
runs out, that's the one that we're currently.
Yes, we have 5 years of coming up with $22 million to pay our athletes.
Once that contract runs out, then that's where I think it's going to be really. It's an issue now. I hear what you're saying. I'm saying once that goes away,
yes.
How this thing gets.
You're right. Like, why does Northwestern get the same amount of money as Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, USC? Why does Purdue get that? Yeah. Why would Maryland? You know what I mean? Are they going to get to the point where they're like, hey, man, you guys had a 0.7 on the whatever scale they're using, and Iowa and Ohio State had a 3.9. You're not doing the same amount of money.
But if you're going to have a competitive league, you have to do that. It just as the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers are drawing the viewers. You're not
Philadelphia Eagles defending Super Bowl champions.
You're not turning down. You're not turning away the Jacksonville Jaguars because they can't get those types of ratings.
So I've been thinking about the other aspect of this. I know we got like 6 minutes left here, but I'm thinking about. We talked about Tuesday, and it just blows my freaking mind. What is Saquon Barkley worth for 2016 and 17? Is his worth the same as a guy who was a backup left tackle or a backup third-team center?
Well, that's the point.
This is where we're going to go. It's like, holy crap, man. And then how many guys
right now under the proposed settlement? Yes, that they would all get the same, and that's what Livy Dunn was saying. But
then Livy Dunn is still in school. She's had that opportunity.
Well, for the last couple of years, she's had that opportunity. But she's
had 3 or 4 years. Is she speaking of other athletes, or is she speaking of just herself?
No, well, she was testifying on herself, but this is.
This came out in 21 now, right? 21.
The student athletes.
So what I'm saying is I don't know how long she would have been denied her, NIL rights and stuff like that. How long were Saquon Barkley's, he had all 4 years. He's only going to get paid for 16 and 17.
Correct.
Again, I have no idea. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from from NCAA, $2.8 billion to be split amongst all of these schools for profit sharing for 16 to 21 or something like that, or to 24. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
speechless at times because now I'm like, I see and I know the kind of money they're talking about, and I'm like, can we not go back to like 1991? I mean, is there a possibility of that going down? I mean, damn. And then, again, that's a slope you don't want to go down because there's guys from the 68 team saying, well, what the hell? Why aren't we getting anything? We weren't on TV. Another one I want to talk about, because we were watching NCAA tournament last week. Remember that 83 NC State team?
Yeah.
Think about those guys. When those guys actually dropped a lawsuit on NCAA and CBS, they have used those guys and name, image, and likeness since 1984.
Yeah.
Every year for 30 or 40 years, they used that stuff. I mean, those guys should be due something. I talked about the only time I ever got any money was when the Eddie O'Bannon lawsuit with the Sega Genesis people. And that was that they used that Penn State 1994 team, I believe it was until like 2010, I think, that if you wanted to go to a classic college football team, we were that. And just weirdly, the left tackle was number 53. He was 6'7", 315 pounds. And he was a white guy with brown hair. I don't know who that could be. And the other tackle was a big 6'7", 315-pound black guy with number 68 on. I don't know. Just what are the chances of that happening?
Possibly could that be?
Yeah. So I think I got like $300 out of that. So that was my image and likeness paycheck. Yeah, that's what I did.
Yep.
I got paid, baby.
Good stuff.
I think the lawyers made more than the actual players did. So as usual.
Well, I think we're going to be talking about
it's just a
hockey championship when we get together next Tuesday.
And get your Steelers draft pick ready, because I think your boy Powers said no to Dart.
Yeah,
they did release a thing today that Shedeur Sanders might go to the Steelers at 21.
I would,
and I don't want to laugh at you guys. I don't want to laugh at you. I would never do that to you guys.
I would rather have Dart than Sanders.
You know, the last time somebody laughed at me about a draft pick, Jalen Hurts. How'd that turn out for you guys?
Not too shabby.
How'd it turn out for you guys?
Not too shabby.
Haters.
Yep, Penn State, Boston U, 8:30 tonight. We'll have live coverage of both of the Frozen Four games starting at 4:45.
Great get, by the way, Fox. Good job.
Yep, Sports Radio 98.7. The Fox. Folks, we hope you enjoy the games tonight. We hope you enjoy the weekend.
Let's go, baby.
And we will talk to you again on Tuesday of next week. Until then, be good and be safe.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Sorentos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drywood Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again,
your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7 The Fox.